I forgot to change it to where it's not under the label category entertainment. So, guys, it's not an entertainment, it's like government politics category and everything. But let me the go. I think I got the GoFundMe. And yes, I do. There's the GoFundMe link for you to go look at if you want to help me. And the deadline for me to submit my registration is tomorrow. Yes, I know that is like last minute. But I know there's some people frustrated at me at the Auxiliary Legion meeting that I attended. I'm the chaplain for it. But you have to understand something. With the severe brain injury I have, and yes, I can do anything and everything everyone else can. But I have, yes, I have limitations and everything, but it just wears me out. As much as I have limitations, that I don't really pay attention to, because the fact I can do everything I used to be able to when it comes to like substituting, being able to work with the kids, getting all this stuff going around that I need to, that I enjoy thoroughly. All this other stuff, getting it around for the conference and such, and all that is a lot. Used to be able to do it, believe it or not. I used to be able to do it when I attended Rose State. And the funniest thing about it is, I was attending Rose State, it was less. I kid you not. When I was attending Rose State, I entered college less than 2 years after sustaining a left-right traumatic brain injury from being broadsided at 60 miles an hour. And a lot of this stuff was just coming back to me, wham, bam, snap of a finger and everything. And I didn't know how to control it. I didn't know what to do. No, there was no guidebook. There was no, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. This is set guidelines. I made my own guidelines. So that's how it's been for me the last 24 years. I've made my own set of guidelines as far as what I can do, what I can't do, what I will do, what I won't do. And if there's something or another, I'll talk to the doctors and everything. And as far as what I'm going to be presenting on for the GoFundMe account that I want you guys to help me on to raise $400 and everything, I forget quick preview and giving you a guideline, telling you a short piece by piece what the slides will be on. I'm essentially going to do a little presentation right here on YouTube on what I'm going discussing and everything. Give me some practice. So I'm going to go pull up my presentation, and I'm going to go get some practice in. Even if I'm not presenting at the international conference this summer, I'm going to be presenting it sometime here in Stillwater to a group of people. The presentation is going to be over a civic service program for traumatic brain injury survivors. It is going to be over cognitive behavioral therapy, and psychological counseling. Some traumatic brain injury survivors need cognitive behavioral therapy, while others might need psychological counseling. And it kind of varies what all symptoms or conditions occur in us, what like daily experiences we might be having. Some of the conditions or symptoms that might occur in survivors, and not all of these are ones that go for me, but I just listed some. Depression, anxiety, or OCD, flat affect or display of little emotion, mood swings, impulsivity, lack of empathy, difficulty with social interactions. On one of the things, I tend to show way too much empathy. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but I tend to, let's just say, empathy wears me out. And results are, it is shown to be highly effective for cognitive behavioral therapy and psychological counseling. In just a second, while I get a drink of water. Okay, for cognitive behavioral therapy and psychological counseling, how does it work? When it comes down to what it comes down to is we, the survivors, are able to get to the root of the problem and discover why we do what we do and why we are the way we are. And just essentially, we're able to understand ourselves better. It's why I majored in health, physical education, and recreation at Rose State College. It's why I took the classes I took at Rose State College. It's why I took introduction to psychology, introduction to sociology. I took childcare classes. I took health behavior theory. I took some other healthcare classes. There was some, I can't think of them at the moment, but I took some other ones that were related to the field and everything. We are also able to come to understand what we believe creates feelings. And trust me, that one just wants to put you asleep at times when you think about that and just talk it over, because I've tend to talk about that a lot with my doctors. Those feelings lead us to behave in a certain way. Trust me, just trust me on that one. The way we behave then reinforces how we feel. The best way I could explain that is when I go substitute. Let's see, how can I? Oh, I would need wish I had some of my pioneers on to be able to help, the ones that are in high school at least, that have been prior to COVID and everything. Um, I've really seen this and everything. The that were there. Yeah, okay. See if I can explain the last one. On the way, like for example, the way I behaved, that reinforces how I felt and everything. Um, like say if you see some the way someone behaving a certain way that and it like causes you to behave um, a way and it starts making you feel a certain way. Like for me, it were unintentionally the students didn't know this, and I had to tell them about my post-traumatic stress disorder that I had, and about from um, the examples from growing up in school and what happened and everything. Um, they needed to like what helped them to understand like the bullying and stuff. Um, how what it how it made me feel, and it helped them with sometimes it helped them with how they treated their classmates and everything. It helped. Okay, 3 outstanding therapeutic services. And only one of these I have actually taken. Okay, horse therapeutic riding, aka hippotherapy. Okay, I will get into why it's called hippotherapy. The Greek word hippos means horse, and this form of therapy makes use of the specific movements of the horse to heal patients. Hippotherapy can do a lot for the patient, including giving them better posture, balance, mobility, and function. There can be psychological effects, cognitive improvement, behavioral improvement, and better communication for people of all ages. People with cerebral palsy, developmental delay, multiple sclerosis, and traumatic brain injury can be effectively treated along with autism, stroke, and speech and language deficits. Hippotherapy, on the other hand, is not for everyone and must be tailored to the needs of each patient. It is designed to be a specific treatment modality, and no writing skills must be learned in the process of doing this form of therapy. I absolutely loved hippotherapy. It was my fave. Oh my gosh. My favorite horse I rode in hippotherapy was Thunder. And I I would always hug the horse when I would get on the horses. After I got on the horse, after I got on the horse, and before I got off the horse, I would always hug the horse and everything when I was in hippotherapy. And also in hippotherapy, I don't know if it was before or after I got done riding the horses. They would have me do speech therapy, and something else they do when you're on the horse, and I would tease them to death. When I was on the horse, they'll have you like reach out and try to get something or like throw. And when they would have me lean down to get something or reach out, I'm like, no, you're just waiting to see if I'll fall. And they're going, no, you won't fall. I'm like, no, you're just waiting for me to fall. You want to see how quickly I'll fall off this horse. They're like, no, we'll catch you if you fall. I'm going, no, I've seen the story. You're just waiting to see how quickly I'll fall off this horse. And so there was so much laughter, so much fun in hippotherapy. I loved it to pieces, and I actually got to have my speech pathologist I had in hippotherapy as an outpatient therapy, as my outpatient therapist, speech pathologist when I went back to Jim Thorpe, and I think I got to see my physical therapist and occupational therapist. I had in hippotherapy when I did outpatient therapy at Jim Thorpe. I don't remember. And then, okay, we're going to move on to second therapy. Dance and movement therapy has been a emerging bodily, I cannot even say this word, kinesthetic treatment modality and TBI rehabilitation programs as a means by which to integrate the mind, body, and spirit, physical, cognitive, and psychosocial dimensions within one approach. Dance therapy is wonderful. I grew up in dance. I started dancing when I was 4 years old. I was in my car accident my 13th year of dance. And then when I came out of my coma, my dance instructor and the assistant dance instructor came to see me every week. I was in the hospital, and they delivered messages from my friends in dance, and they were my best resources for when I started having flashbacks and everything in college. And I'm still in touch with some of them. One of my friends I grew up with in dance, he is a professional dancer. Him and his wife are, I forgot what they do on a cruise line. Anyways, they perform on a cruise line. They live in Florida now. Clark and Melissa Roberts. My friend Angela, my bestie, she was my bridesmaid. And then my cousin Crystal I grew up with in dance was my matron of honor. So, and my friend Lindsay, I've known a lot of my friends from dance since I was 4, and they were my best with when I was struggling with everything. So it really helped with my spirit. And when I went back to dance to help out, and during the summer or during the days that, or during the summer when dance wasn't in session, or during the time frame before dance class started, I would go to the dance studio to work on my dance routines or stretching my muscles and everything. And my friends that I grew up with at the dance studio would either come to the dance studio to visit me, or they would go have lunch with me when I would go out to Ken's Pizza to eat and have lunch, and they would come have lunch with me. And we would just reminisce about the good times and everything. And so it was a lot of fun. And now we move on to the final one, singing therapy. Oh, I would so love to take this one. Singing therapy is a real thing and can be used to help restore speech after brain injury. Research shows that singing or intoning spoken words or phrases can help facilitate speech output in patients with non-fluent aphasia. This is because singing engages the right side of the brain, whereas speaking utilizes the left. I have been substituting. I've not taken singing therapy, but one of the things I've done substituting at Stillwater Junior High is I substitute for the choir teacher. And one thing the kids have loved me doing over the 6 years is not only do they love me singing with them and practicing the songs with them, but they love me doing the karaoke on YouTube or doing karaoke on TikTok or Instagram and everything. So it's something that kind of connects the students and I and everything. And 3 other facts. 1, doing things or activities that were hobbies prior to the accident or prior to the brain injury. Example, singing, writing, dancing. Those were all 3 things I did prior to the accident, and I love still doing. Learning new hobbies that might get the Sorry, the slide went down. I gotta get back down to where it was. Learning hobbies that might get the survivor excited about life or make new friends. Example, laugh out loud politics for me and learning how to draft legislation. My dad was mayor of Wellston. Okay, he was that for 12 years. And he taught me about politics and everything. And I learned, and he taught me a lot about the armed forces because he was in the military 36 years and everything. And he taught me about how to speak with the leaders of the state. And before I would go meet with like Governor, or not Governor Henry, the Lieutenant Governor, Lieutenant Governor Lamb, or the state lawmakers, or the representatives for the congressional leaders for the state. He would prepare me and practice having me talk with him. And anytime I would write letters or work on legislation, he would look over it, and then he wouldn't change it and then just send it. He would work on changing it, and then he would tell me why it needed it to be changed, and then he would give me like examples of what I might want to do in the future or something. And a third thing you might want to do is meet new people, and that's something fun that I've enjoyed doing. Okay, final slide is I would like to be a paid public speaker and attend conferences is where I'd like to go next. And that is all from my presentation. So I hope you all enjoyed it. There's the link to my GoFundMe account in the chat. And by all means, if you have any questions for me, you can put something in the chat or send me a message. Thank you.